All right, what is going on today, chat? What up, what up? Another day, another grade review stream. What is going on, guys? Just chatting. What up? How's it going today, guys? Today, we have a ton of cards to go over. We're going to be pre-grading a lot. Last week was a little bit of a disruption, but we're making up for it. We got a lot of cards to look at today. Got some cool topics to go through, and we're going to be updating the online inventory for graded stuff. So without further ado, we're just going to get right into the meat and potatoes of the stream. If you guys are enjoying yourselves and want to support me, make sure to like and share the live. Praise the almighty algorithm. Almighty algorithm, please. And that's just what we're going to do. All right, so if you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Galaxia Gaming, and in this stream we do every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central, or not Central, Eastern. We are doing what's called grade review. So what grade review is I pre-grade the community members' cards live that have been submitted in the Discord. So you guys are about to see exactly what that means. So first up, we're going to be looking at this Japanese Rockets Mewtwo. Nice little fat swirl there on the top of the hand. For those of you who are new here, I'm a big sucker for swirls, so always like that. So let's see what we got here. So the four main grading criteria of grading: centering, corners, edges, surface. We're going to be going through all four today. And we're going to start off with Mike. I think Mike has joined us. What is going on, Mike? Hopefully my mic is good, because I have restored my good sounding mic. So Mike, let me know if my mic sounds like ass. That's your job tonight. Should be good, but that's your job. So let's look over your Rockets Mewtwo. Last pipe, thank you. Thumbs up. Appreciate you guys. So far, this Rockets Mewtwo looking good, looking crispy. The centering is mwah. Muy bueno, chat. Muy bueno. So let's look at the corners. So we have a lot of tools that we're going to be using today, chat. We got snipping tools, we have magnifiers, we have a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to be kind of drawing all over this card if I need to. So the corner looks good, so that top right looks good. Top edge looks good. Left corner looks good. And normally I tend to stick kind of with the outer side first of a card, and then I go in. So you'll be seeing a lot of that right now. So left edge looks good. Bottom left corner looks good. Bottom edge looks good. Bottom right corner looks good. So all four corners and all four edges look very, very good, Mike. So far, so good. Now, with the surface, let's take a little bit of a zoom action here. So the energy area, the rocket guy, all looking good, all looking fresh. And we do have some other angles that you've submitted as well. So we'll take a look at that just to make sure that there's no hollow scratches or anything like that. So far, so good. That left side looking good, looking fresh. And this one is probably the really big make or break angle. You see a lot of lighting coming on this right side, but I do not see any, and I'm actually going to just take a snippet of this just so you guys on stream can see. So just to zoom in just a tad so you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing. So no print lines, no major issues. These are absolutely amazing. I believe all of these cards tonight are already at PSA. Well, Mike, fingers crossed, brother. Fingers crossed. But it seems like you have a pretty good eye. So honestly, you know, I'm not too worried about you. You're getting up there. You're getting up to the black belt status, Mike. You're getting there. You're about to receive your black belt here soon in Pokemon grading. And we'll have to talk soon about your. I'm super stoked for your first vending experience. I remember we were talking about that. The backside looking really good as well. Again, guys, I cannot stress enough how easy it is to measure centering on the back of Japanese cards. It is without question some of the easiest ways with the red lines. So this card centering is very, very good. Very crisp. Top right corner good, top left corner good. Bottom left corner, really good. And then bottom right corner, really good. The surface on this card is phenomenal. I would say, unless you guys have any other opinions on this, but I think that this Rockets Mewtwo has a very strong chance at getting a PSA 10. I don't see anything majorly wrong with it. Corners are fantastic. The centering is fantastic, both on the front and the back. And just let's make sure, because I think you have some other angles here as well. But so let's do our due diligence just to make sure. But I think you're really solid, to be honest. A little bit of whitening there, but that's probably, you probably wiped that off. I'm gonna assume you wiped that off, or it couldn't get wiped off, one of the two. But I think this card is extremely clean, to be honest. I still think that, you know, I still think that this card would probably get a PSA 10, just from the centering and corners alone. Look extremely well kept and really in good condition. So I think the official, I'm thinking a 10 on that bad boy. I hope, man. That swirl is insane. All right, next up. You have been going absolutely crazy. I don't know if you've been pulling these on Rip and Ship streams or what, but you've been going absolutely bat wild with these megas as of late. So let us take a look at the Mega Gardevoir. So let's take a look. So centering on this is really good. Corners look good. So let's just kind of take a little bit of a peek-see here. So the top right corner looks good. Top left good. Bottom left, bottom right. The surface looks fantastic. The last pipe, thank you guys for sharing the live. Appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. Centering and surface looks really good, dude. Holy guacamole. This thing looks really crispy. That left side looked good. That right side looked good. Now the back equally as good, man. I mean, granted, you know, this is fresh from the pack. Unless the Rip and Shipper threw it down a flight of stairs, or you just got so pumped and you threw it down a flight of stairs. I'm not too sure. But this looks great, to be honest with you. Centering's fantastic. There's no whitening on the corners. Again, I think this one would also be a pretty good 10 contender as well. Making my job easy tonight, Mike. I'm going to tell you that right now, my friend. You're making my job super easy. People like the last pipe are going to think, oh, what does this guy do? Just glazes new cards? Well, the last pipe, I don't. Even though you haven't said anything of the such, and you've been super friendly, I'm going to pretend that you're the arch nemesis of the stream. Okay. The Mega Latios. Let's take a look here. The Mega Latios. Centering. This one you pulled personally. The Mega Latios. Okay. Betty pulled this as well. It seems like the whole Discord has been pulling this Latios. Let's see. Yeah, I agree, Pipe. This card is sick, dude. Corners looking good, looking fresh. Centering, muy bueno, my friend, muy bueno. Let's look at the back. And if you have, so it sounded like you submitted this already. The only thing that may throw you off, and I don't know if it's more of a lighting effect, is the back centering. But I think you should be good, to be quite honest with you, in terms of the ratio. But again, let's kind of do our due diligence. We might have some new viewers in here. So for those of you who are unaware, the back is way more forgiving in terms of centering than the front. So the back is normally 75-25, but I like to be more kind of conservative and be more of like 65-35. But let me kind of show you a little bit here. And this is a little bit of an angle, so you guys kind of have to kind of, you know, wiggle with me a little bit. You got to give me a little bit of wiggle room here. But the left side, I'm seeing right between here and about there. Normally where I kind of like to stop in terms of centering is probably like right around in that section. where it kind of gets a little bit more solid and more gradient in nature. So right around there is where I like to kind of measure in terms of Japanese specifically. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish, like 6.5. Probably do like 6 through like 6.5, just for the sake of argument. And then on the right side, we have about right, probably like one more up, probably like in that direction. Boom. So like right about there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's around like 60-40, but I think it's more of the angle because of the kind of the curve here. And so some flat earthers may think that that's flat and not curved. So hopefully you get a flat earther that says that that's good in your 50-50. But if you don't get a flat earther and that is actually what's true, this back might get you the 9 if that is accurate in terms of measurements. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Betty, what's going on? And this is not your card, by the way, Betty. This is Mike's. Mike also pulled. I was telling the stream. It seems like everyone's pulling Mega Latios in the Discord. So I guess it really just depends on the severity of the curve, to be honest, Mike. But I'm really more, the reason why I bring the curve up is that it kind of makes I think the centering a little bit skewed, because of like the angle of the picture and all that stuff. I think that's really where I'm kind of like bringing that to your attention. So if that is the case, and if it's the curve is giving more of like a measurement illusion, I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see any whitening or anything like that. The only thing that I don't really know is up here on the top. There's a little bit of discoloration, but I think that's kind of a stretch. But no, if the curve has to be so aggressive, like almost like a Tony Hawk half pipe, is the best way I can explain it. But no, it's more of the centering is why I kind of brought up the curve, because it makes it a little bit difficult to really pinpoint the ratio, if that makes sense. So that's kind of my 2 cents. If that centering is there, you'll probably get a 9, or if the issue with the centering is there, you'll probably get a 9. But if that's not, then you'll probably get the 10. So, all right. So next, you have the Mega Lucario, and do you guys know? Let me know in chat. Why do you think Venusaur has so much beef with every Pokemon known to man? You know what I mean? Because like he had a big fight with Charizard. He's having a big fight with Lucario. I'm sure there's other fights that he's got beef with other Pokemon and other cards. I don't know why it's always Venusaur that's he has to throw hands with every single Pokemon in the Pokemon universe. I don't really understand it, but let me know in the comments why Venusaur is always throwing hands. Gaz, what's going on over on YouTube? Welcome, my friend. Didn't mean to ignore you. I was getting into a rant. What up? So let's take a look at this Mega Lucario. Maybe that is maybe that's true last. Maybe Mega Lucario's up there. Yeah, I know, Gaz. It's been a while, man. How are you? How have you been, man? How have you been? Hopefully all is well. Centering on this bad boy. Perfect. This Mega Lucario centering is very, very good. Corners, very, very good. You definitely picked some, Mike, not to glaze, but you definitely picked some really good cards to submit for grading, for sure. Really, it's the Latios is the one I'm kind of like, but this Mega Lucario, dude, like, the centering is perfect on the back. I don't have any of those fears that I had with the Latios. Top right corner, good. Top left corner, good. Bottom left corner, good. Bottom right corner, good. Surface is really good. So I honestly, like, out of the 4 that you have, really it's just the Latios that I'm kind of like a little bit hesitant on. But this Lucario, dude, is super, super nice. Soup, what's going on, brother? And Fuse, welcome in. Waiting on a PSA 10 SSP Pika coming back from Middleman. Well, Gaz, I hope the best of luck, my friend. Best of luck. I think I sent the megas in more excited on how good I did. Maybe not so much needing an opinion. Yeah, dude, I think really just like the Latios is the one that I was kind of like, you might get a 9 because of the centering on the back, but the rest of them, dude, are really, really strong submissions. Really strong submissions. And welcome in, everyone. I welcome my lurkers. So, Mike, thank you so much as always, my friend. Really, really good submission on that one. Next up is the Last Pipe Bender. I had to be really careful on reading that for sure. Go back to lurking, Mike. Sit back, relax, spam the likes in the live. I'll post photos in the Discord when I get into my hands. Dude, Gaz, I wish you the best, brother. I wish you the best. All right, so the Last Pipe Bender has some destined rivals coming up. So Team Rocket's and Nidoking. So let's take a look at this one. So again, as a reminder, for those of you who are new, for Modern, typically the main 2 issues that kind of make or break tens is centering and corners. So those are going to be the big 2 that I'm going to be looking at today for anything Modern. So like Journey Together, Prismatic, Destined Rivals, White Flare, Black Bolt, like centering and corners are the big ones that we're going to be looking at. So let's take a look. So centering on this is really good. Yeah, dude, Mike, I totally agree. It's very like Ken Sugimori-esque with the watercolor, but just really showing off kind of the power of the Nidoking. So I definitely agree too. So one thing that does concern me a little bit, and I don't know if it's lighting, and you guys in chat, if you are not lurking and kind of see what I can see, I almost see like a little bit of like a shadow here in the top right. So the only reason why I bring this up is sometimes when I see shadowing on a card specifically, that tends to like show me or kind of appear as though it's a little bit of a dent or something like that. And the reason why I think that is sometimes with lighting and the shadow, it kind of highlights some of those dents or imperfections. So that I'm going to kind of keep my eyes out when we flip this over. My eyes are going to kind of shift to the top left, which is going to be where this potential issue is. But so far, the rest of the card looks pretty good. The corners look good. Centering looks good. Giovanni looking like a badass. Let me know if you guys would prefer Giovanni as your boss in real life or not. Me personally, I would. He brings a cat to work, dude. I'd work for a guy who brings his cat to work. You know what I mean? Giovanni all the way. Okay. So as we flip it over, again, my eyes are kind of focusing more on this left side because I was drawn attention to this top right side. I'm flipping over and looking more on that top left. And it does not look like it translates over, which is a really good sign. But the top right corner looks good here on the back. Top left corner looks good. Bottom left, bottom right look really good. So the only thing that I see, and I don't know if you guys can see it on stream or not, is a little bit of an issue here on this left side. So I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see it right where I'm kind of tracing my mouse here. And I'm actually going to highlight this real quick because I think it's really important because a lot of people are kind of misled into thinking that just because a card is fresh from a pack does not always guarantee that it'd get a 10. And so the thing that I'm really kind of concerned with, and yes, I'm being really kind of anal about this, is right in this section right here. And so what I see, or what appears to be, are 2 scratches right here and right there. But they're very, very faint. I don't know if you guys can see them. And if you guys are the non-lurkers, if you want to kind of confirm or deny or think I'm going crazy, whatever. But that's the first thing that I saw was in this area specifically. There what appears to be 2 very faint scratches on that left border. What Chrome extensions do I use for centering and magnifying? So the centering, so this tool that you're seeing on screen right now, Gaz, this is just the snipping tool baked into Windows, which is really convenient, to be honest, because it allows me to zoom and allows me to pop up the ruler, allows me to do a bunch of stuff. But the other Chrome extension I use is just called Magnifying Glass Hover Zoom. That's all it's called. But I think I want to err especially for modern, I like to kind of err on the side of caution. And I want to say that that probably is some degree of like mild surface scratching or a kind of like a print line. And if you're watching me on desktop, I apologize. Eve's finger is kind of like hiding the scratch here. But right along this left side, right about there, having a little bit of an issue with thinking that that's probably a degree of like a print line. So I think because of the print line, like a rule of thumb for those of you who are wondering, like, you know, would that 10, would that not 10? A good rule of thumb, especially if you're looking at cards online, is if you can see it, they can see it. And if they can see it, it's probably going to be around a 9, would be my guess on this one. So it's a very unfortunate, but it kind of is what it is, and that's a Nidoking for ants. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, next up, my personal favorite from Destined Rivals is the Misty's Psyduck. And as a reminder, if anyone is new here, if you have any questions about anything that I'm doing or how to submit your cards for a free grade review, this is something I always offer to the community every Wednesday. Please let me know in the chat. I'd be more than happy to go over, because at the end of the day, I'm here for the people. I want to try to help you guys as much as I possibly can navigate this crazy hobby that is Pokemon. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer. So, Misty Psyduck, probably one of my favorite chases of Destined Rivals. Let's get into it. So centering, at first glance, I'm not going to lie, at first glance, the right side looks a little bit thicker on the right side than the left. Thank you, Gaz. I appreciate that. Can highly recommend the chat and Discord. I appreciate you, man. The left side looks a little bit thicker than the right, but I think we're within that 55-45 range. And so for those of you who don't know, PSA updated their centering restrictions maybe like 3 to 4 months ago. I really can't remember. But basically it's 50-50 to 55-45. It used to be just 60-40, but they kind of tightened up a little bit by 5. So how you measure, so this is pretty much apply this to everything that you use. I know there's like a ton of AI tools out there, but I am a boomer. I like to kind of stick to the tried and true, like the core method of how you should measure centering, which is you add, or you measure one side, you measure the other side, and you add both values together and you divide one of the sides by the sum, and that's how you get your ratio. So I'm going to kind of show that real quick on this Misty Psyduck, because the right side, visually, the first thing I saw was that it possibly looked a little bit off center on the right side, but I think we're within the range of what PSA would normally accept. So right now on screen, you should be seeing my little ruler, and I know I have some EU folks. I had some Australian people watching me the other day. I had some UK people watching me the other day. So let's just assume, like, do a peace treaty here. Let's just call these tick marks, okay? Before I get flamed on millimeters, centimeters, inches, half inch, whatever. I have a 70% 10 rate due to what I've learned from this channel. Gaz, that's awesome to hear, dude. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for glazing me. Okay, so the right side. So we have like right about here from boom to boom. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 roughly on that right side. So 4.5 tick marks on the right. And then if we go over to the left side, we got boom to boom. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, like just over 4, but just for argument's sake, we will just say that that is 4.0. So how you do this? So we have 4.5 on the left side. So we have 4.5 on the left side plus 4 on the, 4.5 on the right side, 4 on the left side. We get 8.5. So we divide 4.5 divided by 8.5, and we get 52. If you round up, you get 0.53. So it's a 53 to 47 ratio, which totals 100. So what that means is that on the screen, this card would be within the range of receiving a PSA 10 subcategory for centering. So what I like to say for centering is centering kind of sets the ceiling. So if this was, if this was 60-40, the rest of the card could be absolutely flawless, but the highest the grade could go would be a PSA 9. So centering really is like the phase 1, and really sets the stage on how high the potential for your card to get a PSA 10 in this case. So in this case, it is within that 55-45, at least what we're measuring on stream, which is good because that means that the ceiling is at 10. So you are at, like, the only way that it gets worse is if we see whitening or print lines or anything like that. Does the zoom scale not matter when using the ruler like that? So what I like to do, Gaz, is I zoom in as much as I can and then just keep it as zoomed as I can so it doesn't fluctuate the numbers, is the best way I can explain it. So, Misty Psyduck, technically, the centering is good. Corners are really good. Now, the only thing that I don't see, which is a really good sign, especially for a card like this, is that there's a lot of hollow. So sometimes, with the amount of hollow that we kind of see in this Misty Psyduck, sometimes you may see some print lines. So that's one thing that I kind of like to look at. Again, for Modern, it's really not as common. But right now, I don't see anything. Exactly, Gaz. And that's honestly why I bring up a lot of these. And this is really good for you guys on TikTok to hear about too. Is a lot of these techniques I personally use when looking at cards on eBay if I'm trying to, have grading plays or anything like that. So a lot of these techniques can kind of translate over to online platforms or even like Facebook Marketplace or anything like that. Texas Toad, thank you for liking the live, my friend. I appreciate you. All right. Excuse me. So, like I was kind of showing before, the right side was a little bit sus. So now that's why I'm kind of flipping it over. And this left side's also a little suspicious, but it's not bad. So we should be good there. So, but again, it's really the corners that I'm kind of a little iffy about, right? So this to me, what I'm seeing kind of right here is just a little bit of whitening. I think more so because of the flash of the camera and less of like the quality of the card, if that makes sense. So sometimes people call these like pack folds or something like that. So just kind of be aware that sometimes pack folds you can kind of get away with when you submit cards, but sometimes you can't. And we just hit 1K likes on TikTok. Thank you guys so much for showing the love and support. So as we kind of go across on the left side, so the left corner is looking pretty good. This left edge is looking good. Is that left side flash rather than white? That's what I think too, Gaz. I think that this is more, especially because, and I'm kind of, bear with me, guys. I'm kind of going a little bit like lighting effect weird kind of here for a second. But since the light source is in the middle, it's kind of going outwards, right? Is the shine of the card. So I would imagine that right here on this left side is more of lighting than whitening. Man, Texas Toad going in with the likes. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. White bottom right, I think. Let's see. So left side, again, this whitening that we're seeing on this left side is more of the lighting of the picture. But the left is really good. Now, what Gaz over on YouTube is saying is that I believe he's suspecting that this right here, where the tip of my mouse is whitening. And my suspicion is kind of both ways, Gaz, to be quite honest with you. A part of me wants to say yes, I genuinely agree with what I'm seeing is kind of accurate with what you're seeing. But I also wonder, because of the texture of the background, like how this binder is textured, I'm wondering if it's the background that's kind of sticking out, because you can kind of see this like grid pattern. This is like really like meta with what we're doing right now, chat, where we're kind of reviewing the background that the card is being taken picture on. But I want to say that it's probably more of the background than it is on the card, to be honest. Could be Duster, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, you read my mind, man. So I would say, honestly, with how this card looks, I would legitimately think that this card is in pretty good shape. Now, the thing that I just saw before I opened my silly little mouth, chat, was right here. So let me, as we've seen and taken, let's enhance. So we're enhancing. So this right here, I know, chat, this might be goofy. I know I might be kind of a try-hard PSA grader, but right there where that, like, where you can kind of see that discoloration on that black stroke line in the P. So Bring it in, chat. Bring it in for a second. Right? Let's see. Bring it in. If that is an ink dot, meaning that that black ink is not there, you are kind of in the realm of a Gambler's 10/9. However, if you can wipe that off, you are in good shape. But the reason why I bring it up, and some people are like, Galaxia, why are you so like specific? Like, that's not going to matter, blah, blah, blah. Chat, sometimes it does matter, dude. Sometimes it does matter. Especially if you're submitting, and I'm trying to say, at the end of the game, listen, chat. Bring it in, right? I'm trying to save you guys money, all right? I know some of you, pay for the whatever, but I'm trying to save you money. And I'm going to be as very specific as I possibly can to save you money, okay? So if I'm anal about it and really specific, that's why. Okay, back to the card. If I can find the scene. Right here. So that's why I'm doing that, all right? So, with all that talk, the last pipe, you wiped it off. All right, then it doesn't matter. But that is the stuff that we need to pay attention to, okay? That is the stuff we need to pay attention to. So the fact that the pipe, it's unfortunately the bottom right is whitening. Ooh, okay. So the pipe. So again, this is a really good thing. If you guys ever are part of this grade review process, it's really important for you guys to be here because the last pipe, Gaz over on YouTube spotted it, was this bottom right side of whitening, which would be right here. So last pipe, who submitted this over on TikTok, is now confirming that that is a little bit of whitening. So last pipe. Here is, if this is your first time here, I don't think so because you obviously submitted this, so that you might have heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again. This is what we like to call in the business a gambler's 10. That amount of whitening is so minimal that we like to call that a gambler's 10. And someone on YouTube saying my audio might be cutting out. For those of you who are on TikTok, if you don't mind confirming if my audio is good or bad, I might be getting too excited about this. Just let me know if it's bad or whatnot. Appreciate you. But anyway, last pipe. We call that a gambler's 10 in this chat. So I have seen cards with the same amount of whitening get 10s, but I've also seen cards with the same amount of whitening get 9s. So it's more for my personal opinion, if that is whitening, it is more of a gamble on your end than anything. So if you're not in it for, if let's say you bought this pack for like $5 or whatever, you bought this pack for MSRP, you pulled the card, and you're like, wow, I'm super stoked. You're really only going to be out of this card, because bulk submission is like $15-16 on for GameStop if you're submitted. So let's say that you're $20 in, right? It's kind of like a not bad gamble at the end of the day. So if you want to go for the gamble, that's kind of on you. So I kind of call those gamblers 10s. So pipe. So if you're a gambling man, you got to let us know. I'm more conservative. I'm not really a gambler. So if it were me personally, I would assume a 9 and I probably wouldn't submit it. But if you're a gambling man or woman, I would go for it. With the ink dot and white spot, I'd say 9. If I personally wouldn't send, if you're looking at, yeah, Gaz. But I guess, I don't know if I said this out loud or not. Dude, no, all in on green, man. All in on green, Jack. That's what I bet on. But I'd probably say gambler's 10 or a 9. Bet on green. That's what I do in this chat. Well, again, don't listen to me. What do I know? I'm just a dude on the internet that just assesses cards. Right, Mike? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Anytime, Pipe. So, Pipe, thank you, as always, my friend, for submitting your cards, and I'm glad you enjoyed me yapping. Mike knows. Mike knows the truth. Okay, next up, Sammy. Sammy's got a pretty crazy lineup. I'm not going to lie. First off, the Pikachu and Zekrom. Pikachu Zekrom tag team. Let's take a look. Centering. Good. On the left and the right. But, chat, the bottom is looking a little suspicious to me. So let's measure it. I don't know if you guys are getting sussed out by the bottom, but oh boy. That was the first thing I saw. So let's see. So bottom. So again, if you guys are wondering what tool I use, I just use snipping tool, man. I'm basic. I use Windows snipping tool. And this is what I use for eBay sniping. Like if I see a listing on eBay that I'm like really trying to get, I'll use it. So we go from here, boom, to boom. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5. And for those of you, this is a side topic. If you guys have played Gears of War Remastered or Reloaded, let me know. Because I used to play back in high school, and I am now trash. I'm absolute trash. Hopefully you guys have been having a good time with it. Or if you guys have been playing Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Remake, or it's called Delta, I believe. Metal Gear Solid Delta. Let me know. Because that is crazy. I feel like I'm back in high school again. With all these like old games coming out. Let me know if you played. Alright, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. So 4 on the top. Roughly 5 on the bottom. So, chat. 5 on the bottom, 4 on the top. If you guys have never been here before, Mike, you know what? I know you're kind of lurking, Mike, but I'm kind of picking on you for a little bit. Or anyone else has been in here. Gaz has been here for a while. I lost a full iron bundle at UIC, found it 6 months later, absolutely destroyed, sent it to PSA for slabbing. Woof. Dude. So, for those of you who are frequent, we have to initiate the uninitiated. 5 on the bottom, 4 on the top. Which adds up to, so 5 divided by 9. We have in the realm of 0.55. So what that means, chat, is you got a dilemma. You have a dilemma of if your PSA grader is going to be kind to you or not. Are they going to round up and get 0.56 and make you ineligible for PSA 10 centering subgrade? Or are they going to have the best night of their lives and either sit there or round down to get 5.545? You better hope that they hit green in 1 at the casino, or you're gonna hope that their date at Chick-fil-A was beautiful. Their sky high dopamine is at an all-time high, and they grant you the 5.545 centering. That's what I'm hoping for you. That's what I'm hoping. But sometimes they have a bad mood and they'll round up to 5.6 and get you a 5.6 5.644, which will make you ineligible for a 10. That's what I'm hoping. The PSA ratios did change, Gaz. It went from 60-40 to 55-45. That's why I'm making this big dramatic discussion about the life of a PSA grader. But yes, it's now 55-45. But the centering looks great. Edges look good. And, ooh. All right, chat. While I take a sip of my beverage, I'm going to see if you guys see what I see. Do you see what I see? What may prevent the 10 from happening? Let me know, chat. Lurkers, rise up. Last pipe sees what I see. Gaswald sees what I sees. A scratch or a hair in the bottom right of the card. I don't know what that is, to be honest. But this to me, right? Oh, you guys can't see what I'm talking about. Do you see what I see? You definitely don't, because I have it off frame. Right here. Right here. What appears to be a scratch. Right in that section. So my guess is that, again, I hope it's a hair, but my gut says that it's a scratch. Would be my guess. So that's probably a scratch. So That alone will prevent you from getting the 9. The centering is already kind of wonky on the front, but the back, the scratch, that will prevent you from getting that 10 for sure. In my honest opinion, depending on how bad it is in person, because again, we have to remember, right? I kind of brought this up before. We kind of have to remember that the light source is coming from the right side, right, in this section. So this is kind of really popping this scratch in the bottom right. So we kind of have to kind of take that into consideration. But I would say we're kind of in that 9 to 8 range, to be honest, because of the severity of that scratch, if it's as predominant as it is in person. But if it's the lighting making it look worse than it actually is, then it's probably more of a 9, to be honest. Is that edge fraying or a light again on the right? So this is definitely light for sure, Gaz. For sure. Just because of this section right here. That is... You guys want to see how I scan Pokemon cards, I guess? That's what that was. Right here. Yeah, so all this right in this section, that's all lighting. That's all that is. Gaz, I hear you, man. I would say, like as, like, the more cards you kind of look at, really, here's kind of, like, the weird, nerdy photography side of me, Gaz. Is you can kind of judge if lighting is impacting a card by seeing where the shadows are. So, like, on this right side, you can, so, like, if we kind of look at the card here, this whole left side here is all shadowed. So it implies that the light source is coming from somewhere over on the right side. And you can kind of see in this section here that that's all lighting on this side of the card. So that's why, in my opinion, that's what kind of makes it a little bit easier to detect if something is lighting or whitening, is based off of the shadow on the opposite side. Been thinking about getting a scanner, got a microscope, and has made, dude, Gaz, that is, you're stepping up, my friend. The scanner that I use, if you want a little pro tip, is a Epson V600. That's what I personally use. It's a flatbed scanner, is what I use. But all right, let's move on. Candy, I don't know if you're in here, Candy, but we're about to look at your Pikachu EX Gold. So let's take a look. And if you guys are enjoying yourself, you know what? Bring it in for a second. Let's bring it in for a second. If you guys are enjoying yourself, let me know by liking or sharing or following the live. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. If you guys are over there, look at my big wall. And I don't know if you guys can see that box right there where my finger is, but you guys are in for a treat soon. I picked up a crazy, crazy item over the week. I'm super excited to show you guys what that is. But enough bait. I'm super excited. It'll be coming soon. For those of you who are in the know, you know. So keep your mouth shut. All right? Listen. I don't want any snitches in there. All right, chat? I don't want any snitches. But that box right there, whoo, boy. That's a spicy meatball right there, boy. Holy. But don't snitch. If you know, don't snitch. I'm watching you. Go back. All right. Excuse me. Last pipe. Thank you for liking the live. Candy, I'm here. I pulled this on my birthday. Well, let's look at this birthday Pikachu. Let's see. The birthday Pikachu. Let's see if we can give Candy some good news. So first, Candy, we have to have a little bit of a discussion here, okay? That right side looking a little thick. I'm not gonna lie to you. That right side looking a little chunky. Okay? But let's measure just in case. I could be wrong. But I feel like I'm not. So, even Faye, my cat, is at my feet, hoping that this is not true. But we're about to measure. Okay? Texas, you can't do us like that, Texas. All right, I can see that the right side's thick. All right, but this is Candy's birthday Pikachu pull. All right, dude, we gotta make sure that we're locked in. We can't be no negative vibes in here, Texas Toast. I know it's Toad, but I want to call it, I read it as Texas Toast, right? I'm hungry man. Leave me alone, all right? Texas Toast, all right? All right. Right side. Lock in. I am locked. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 4.5 on the right side. Let's prove Texas Toast. Texas Toast is now the villain of this card. Let's prove Texas Toast wrong. 1, 2, 3-ish. We'll say 3. Candy. We have to have a serious talk. Judging by my math skills, if we add 4.5 plus 3, 4.5 plus 3, we get 7.5. Okay? So if we divide 4.5 divided by 7.5, that is that is a 0.6 on the screen. That is a 0.6 on the screen, my friends. Which means, based off of my measuring tool, that is a 60-40 ratio. Ugh, yikes! That is a 60-40 ratio. So this will not get you the 10, Candy. I know. I wish I was. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Blame it on Texas Toast over on TikTok. But listen. It's a cool pull, but it will not get the 10. Just from that right side alone. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It be what it be. And it ain't gonna get the 10. Alright. I'm sorry. Texas Toast came out on top. In addition, the bottom is a little cooked. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The bottom right here, it's a little cooked. So right where my mouse is, I'm even going to zoom in just for the people. Unless it's fuzz, I don't know what it is. Unless it's fuzz. On a serious note, would you consider it necessary to figure out the top-bottom ratio? For this card specifically, Texas, no. Because basically centering just sets the ceiling. The centering sets the ceiling. So since the right and left, we're at that 60-40 ratio, we're already, the highest we can go, I think, is like a 9. But that might be fuzz, whatever. But we're probably, like, I would say, like, this, to me, looks like fuzz. That looks like fuzz. This, not so much. So I'm honestly thinking between an 8 or a 7. 7 is like the grader that you received had a awful day. He bet on green and lost. You can't do that. Who bets on green and loses, chat? Can I watch these streams anywhere? Clint, you can, brother. You can. If you go to my YouTube, which is in my link in my bio, my link tree, I have done this. This is episode 78. I've done this 78 times every Wednesday. So yes, you can. Would you isolate water so... Would you ISO water so close to that edge? I don't know what you mean, Gaz. Listen, Candy, you got the birthday Pikachu, dude. All right? The birthday Pikachu rose up. But honestly, I would probably give this more of an 8, to be honest. Like, because of the bottom, my guess is that this does not look like fuzz to me. It looks like a little bit of whitening. You may have gotten too excited by opening up this Pikachu, which, to be fair, if you pulled this on your birthday, I would be excited too. A little bit, probably too much of excited. Can I watch this with my friends and family? Just wanted to ask for permission. Absolutely, often. You are more than welcome. But, Candy, you are, well, Candy. Spelled Candii. It's probably going to be an 8 for you. I'm sorry. It is what it is. The birthday Pikachu ate a little bit too much cake. I'm sorry. It's a little bit thick on the right side. All right? Don't blame me. It is what it is. All right? That's what I would say. I would say this birthday Pikachu had a little bit too much birthday cake, is a little bit thick on the right side, and got a little bit too excited and tripped over a rock on that bottom part, which is why we have a little bit of whitening. Yes, Candy, this is the best binder card you could possibly imagine. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. But thank you, Candy, for pulling up. It's always fun to have people that are getting their cards reviewed actually in stream, so thank you. Say thank you, Candy. Thanks for showing up. Possible fuzz, looks like it on the front and the bottom. Yeah, I mean, it could be. It very well could be like what you're saying here. I'm hoping it's fuzz. If it's fuzz, it's probably a 9. But if it ain't a fuzz, it's probably not. It's probably like a 8. Yes, Candy, the more the merrier, my friend. The more the merrier. All right, so we have more from Sammy. We have some promos for days. We have some Venusaurs, Mega Lucario, Charizard EX, Charizard and Braixen EX. Let's take a look. It's the fuzz. What up, Apple? We're just looking at fuzz. Don't mind me. If you guys enjoy yourselves and want to cater to the almighty algorithm, make sure to send a like, follow, share, whatever. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for... Cheers to being goofy with me. I appreciate you all. Now let's look at this Venusaur promo. From Ken Sugimori. If you guys have a favorite artist, let me know. Ken Sugimori will always have a special place in my heart. Pour up, Apple. Pour up, brother. Pour up that apple juice. Venusaur promo from my man, Sammy K. Let's lock in, Sammy. If you're here, because I don't know what your name is, Discord and YouTube and TikTok, there's 50,000 people always in and out. We're reviewing your cards. So let's look. Venusaur promo. Centering, looking good, looking fresh. Corners, looking good. Now I do see a little bit of something. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sugarcoating anything, chat. I see a little bit of something right there. I don't know what that is. I'm just saying, I don't know what that is, but looks a little suspicious. I don't know if you guys agree or if I'm just crazy, chat, but I think there's a little bit of something right there. If I zoom in, what do you guys think? I'm seeing something right here. Right here. Maybe dare I be so bold as to circle another one? I'm seeing a little bit of some micro scratches like Texas Toast is saying. Texas, I hope if you come back, I hope you know that I'm always going to call you Texas Toast. Just letting you know that you are now Texas Toast. I know it's Texas Toad, but you're Texas Toast here. All right? That's what you are. But anyway, I see micro scratches here on the left side. We also have some scratches right here. From what appears to be scratches, at least. Let me, like right about there. But aside from that, it's just the scratches, dude. The scratches. Ooh. Chat. This is why we have to zoom in on cards, man. This is why we have to zoom in. I don't know. Am I going crazy, chat? Is the earth flat? Right there. That looks like a little bit of something. You know, I'm gonna put instead of a green circle, I'm gonna put a little bit of an orange there. That's like a little suspicious to me. I don't know. I'm just saying. Hands up. Looks a little suspicious, chat. That spot looks a little suspicious. But we'll keep going. Venusaur's chilling. But I'm thinking when we flip this bad boy over, the only thing I see is the micro scratches here in the hollow and a little bit of suspiciousness here on the top side. And apparently I have an event going. All right. So let's flip it over. Ooh. Chat. Chat, tell me what I see. Do my job for me. What am I about to call out? I feel like I'm calling out the kids in the back. What am I calling out? Chop, chop. Make sure that you guys are paying attention. What am I seeing? Texas Toast, bottom left. That's one. Mike, I see you falling asleep in class back there. Don't make me get up. Don't make me throw the eraser at you. Apple sits in the front. Mike, you're just in the back sleeping. Texas Toast is the foreign exchange student that just arrived. Gaz is a super senior. Yes. You guys are seeing what I'm seeing. So let's see. Let's check out the sussiness. So we have. We're gonna ready chat. We're gonna do this super fast. We have. Boom, 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 boom. This bottom left side. That one's huge. Here, bottom right, boom, right there. This is hard. This is too hard, like what Gaz was saying, right in this section. Can't really see anything because that's where the major light source is coming from. Here. Possible in this direction. I don't know why I made a really scuffed square, but it is what it is. So it's right in that section. Pokemon looks good. Pokeball looks good. Pokemon at the bottom looks good. The top there's a line. Appleware. Ink issue on the K. I feel like I should do like a speed run one of these times. Like a speed run assessment. So those are my marks, chat. Those are what I saw. 3/4 from the top left as well. That's what I'm saying, man. I feel you. So, Apple, you get that card. I send you a week or two. Ooh, look at you guys making deals. Okay. So, here we go, chat. So, drum roll. I personally think that this card would get a 7. So why do I think this Venusaur would get a 7, you may ask? Here is why. So, the micro scratches on the bottom left foil. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 in this general area by the bottom left, as well as some micro scratches on the bottom of the feet. When we look at the back, we have a lot of very minimal whitening on the corners. So the top left, bottom left, and bottom right, as well as some ink issues on the K. But aside from that, it's actually in pretty good shape. But it's not considered light play, which normally I equate light play to PSA 6. So we're kind of in that 7 range. So I'm thinking near mint. It wouldn't really be near mint plus, but I'd probably put it more into the 7 than the 8. So that's why I'd probably lean more towards. Apple got it. Texas Toast got it too. Apple never checks his mail. He actually lives amongst the land. He has to bring in his horse and buggy to the post office. That's why he hasn't gotten it, Mike. Mark in the mouth. Yeah, I'd still probably say more like 7. I think like print line specifically, you're probably still in that 7 range. But all right. Hey. 96 hours a week. I bet you walk 15 miles to work. Like what was chat, I'll give you 1,000 points if you tell me the grandfather's name in the Rugrats. Because I can't remember. You used to walk 15 miles to work. I can't remember what the grandfather's name in Rugrats was, but Apple is that man. Mega Lucario. Let's take a look. Centering. Looking good, looking fresh. Corners. Top right looks good. Top left looks good. Left edge looks good. Maybe a little bit of some fuzz or something stuck there. Bottom left looking good, looking fresh. The texturing on these is insane, but looks good to me. Okay. So as we flip it over, the corners and the edges. For your personal collection, if you know it's a 10, no issue seen, do you chance the BGS Black Label? That's a, you know what? That's a good question. We'll take a segue. That's a good question. I would say that I probably wouldn't, because there is a lot that goes into getting a Black Label aside from like measuring perfectly with 50/50. And for me, the people that I serve from a customer perspective, I have not personally established myself as a Black Label connoisseur. I know you said that for my personal collection, but my personal collection is my inventory at this point, because I really have no one else to share. Like, aside from like this stuff, like on the wall there, that's legitimate. Like, this is not BS. Legitimately, all that was from my childhood collection, and none of that would ever grade even like a 5, let alone a Black Label. So for my personal collection, I would never grade Black Label because there's so much involved that I probably wouldn't. So I should grade all those just so it's sealed. Well, I have them in like those Ultra Pro magnetic snap-on things, like those magnetic snap-on cases. So like they're protected, they're UV protected. But get the wall slab. Yeah, I'm just gonna send them all, like the whole like display case, and just send as like a one unit thing. But all right, so the back of this Mega Lucario. Right corner looks good. This top right corner looks good. There's some pretty significant whitening on that top middle, so we're starting to get a little issue there. Top left looking good, looking fresh. Try and have a full set of grade 1s. That'd be epic. Dude, you know what's funny? You know what? You guys get me so distracted that it's actually insane. Look at that's not the right screen. Chat, this is the right screen. So I just replaced, so I had a PSA 2 PSA 2 First Edge Shadowless Zapdos and a PSA 4 First Edge Shadowless Chansey. So, Antonio, what's going on? So I had these in my personal collection that I just upgraded. So the PSA 9 Zapdos and the PSA 9 Chansey. So I just upgraded these out of my personal collection. So now these are up for sale at some point. But those are out of their rotation. What else? That's about it. So I upgrade my 150. I have a 151 Gen 1 Dex that I upgrade. In regards to ones, I didn't want to derail, but I wanted to ask what differentiates a 1, 2, or 3. Dude, I feel like this whole stream is just derailing. Like, I'm still looking at the back of this Mega Lucario, and you guys are having me look at like 1s, 2s, and 3s. All right, it's Apple's fault. I'm gonna blame Apple on this one. All right. So shout out to Apple for derailing the stream as always. Do you recommend the slab sleeves? So these are the sleeves that I recommend. You ready? So first off, I picked this up at a show. Look at that, just chilling on my desk. I picked that up. So let me show you the sleeves that I use. Let's see. You guys get to see my... Don't look, chat. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up. Don't look. I'm watching you. I'm watching you, chat. So this is what I use. All right. So I use these right here. Super Fit Innovation. The OG. I've been using these forever. And these are the best fitted sleeves I own. The best ones. Not much. Saw you were streaming from the core. Just posted the Ho-Oh and the core. Excited for the review later this month. Antonio, I am super stoked. That is probably one of the craziest gifts I've ever seen anyone receive. So congratulations. You, me, and Mike should do a joint live, and we should just geek out on our collections. Dude, that'd be sick. What do you guys think about that? Shout out to Apple and Mike. Do a joint stream. What else do I have? Oh, look at this, guys. Again, this is just the part of my stream where now I guess I just segue into showing off some weird stuff in my house. Look. I think I've showed this off before. But look at Pokemon Sapphire version. The funny thing about this coin was I told my friend, hey, I golf. Right? And so I use the tokens to mark my golf ball when it's on the green. So be like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if I just had this to like this rare coin to like mark my golf ball, haha. He got this for me for Christmas like 2 years ago, and I've been so afraid to crack it out to mark my golf balls with it. So that's legitimately why I have this. Sealed. He's like, oh yeah, just like crack it open and just use it for a golf ball marker. It's like, okay. So I've been like, I feel like I need to respect his wishes and actually do it. But one of these days. And like, guys, I'm telling you, I have so many cards. Look at, here's another card I found. Combuskin Staff World promo, just chilling in my bulk box. I don't know those Combuskin fans out there. Dude, I have stuff. I'm not kidding. I have stuff everywhere. Like this. You guys ready to see this stuff? Look, this is when I was trying, like, this has been like this for probably like a year. I have red and yellow cartridges that I've been like, you know what? Because I know how to replace the battery. It's not that bad. But it's like, I just have had them like this for like a year. But I'm just too lazy to just change them out. They literally been in penny sleeves on my desk for like a year and a half. What else, chat? Do you guys want to see more stuff, or should we just keep going with the... I feel bad because I have Sammy waiting for his cards to get graded. And I've just been chilling, just showing you guys my stuff. Some things are worth more than money. Dude, all that right there, man. All that right there. I would never sell any of that stuff. But like everything like in this Pelican case that I bring to shows and stuff like that. I still have my gold cartridge in purple see-through Game Boy Color. Dude, same, dude. I think I have, I don't know if you can see it. Ready, Antonio? You better have, like, everyone zoom in, because I'm not getting up. I know what you guys want. I'm not getting up, and I'm not turning around. But right here. Because you're watching me on YouTube, so you get to know what I'm pointing at. Right here. That right there, that's the purple see-through Game Boy that you're talking about. And that up there, over there, where my finger... You guys can't see on TikTok, so you kind of have to take my word for it over on YouTube. But right there is a signed poster by Ray, the voice actor for Ray from Neon Genesis Evangelion. So that's pretty sick. You guys want to see some cool stuff? Like, now it's just show and tell. Just letting you guys know. You guys want to see something cool? So I love My Chemical Romance. Look at this. This was a signed promo poster from the entire band of My Chemical Romance with Gerard Way and the OG band members for 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. All signed. And authenticated. Because I was a nerd and wanted to, because I knew. So there's that. That's fire, right, chat? And, look. You guys thought that was it. Look at this. I have a signed vinyl. The only person I'm missing, which is like ironic because he's like the most like common guest in all of cons, is a vinyl signed of all the members of the OG Cowboy Bebop English dub. Got Jet. Nope, we have Jet, Faye Valentine, and Ed. Friggin' sick. Dude, I have stuff all over this room. I have, like, above me, I have an actual signed. So this was from the actual. So this is the actual unsigned by Spike himself. Just chilling. One of these days, you guys have to let me know if I feel like at this point I need to do like a room tour. I should, guys. I need to get it framed, but I'm too lazy. But I have a bunch of stuff. I have stuff literally everywhere in this apartment that I live in. Literally everywhere. But anyway, I have more stuff. All up for a room. Dude, I know it's all, and I just have a bunch of stuff. Like this Pelican case, this is what I take most of my my stuff to shows. Enjoyed the grading, but good to hang out. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice, man. It's kind of nice to like kind of BS a little bit. You know what I mean? And I always appreciate you guys hanging out with me and letting me kind of BS a little bit. It's kind of fun to like nerd out. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people just do. You know, not a lot of people nerd out. But anyway, the Mega Lucario. The front was good. The back, also good, with the exception of this little bit of whitening on the top. I'm a little nervous. A little nervous about it. But yeah, I mean, looks good. I think just like some kind of polish up some stuff, but I think you're probably within that 10 range, to be quite honest with you. 10 or a 9. Because I'm not too sure what that is on the top. Probably more of a 9 if that is a ding. But yeah, I mean, I'd be down, man. I'd be down to do a little bit of a like a nerd out session one of these days. Apple and Mike, if you guys are down. You guys have been here long enough. It'd be kind of cool to get your insight on the hobby, and because you guys know where I stand on 90% of this stuff. So it'd be kind of cool if you guys agree or disagree. Is the upper right side an indentation on the back on the Mega Lucario? Let's see. Let's see. Is the upper right side an indentation on the back? If you're probably talking about this, that's what I'm thinking is hopefully a bit of dust and not an indentation, but it could very well be an indentation. So that's probably what you're seeing, would be my guess. But yeah, Mike and Apple, because my brain literally exists only on TikTok. Just shoot me a DM to remind me, because you know my brain will forget the moment the stream ends. I'll forget exactly what we talked about. Just letting you guys know. Shoot me a DM. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. Charizard EX. Now this one's big, chat. This one's big. Let's see what we would grade this bad boy. So Charizard EX. Centering is good. Top, bottom, left, right. Looking good, looking fresh. Corners look good. The only one I'm really worried about would be that top right side. But let's flip it over. All right, chat. There's something I'm seeing that's probably not going to make this card get a 10. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But it's going to be that little whitening that right there in the top right would be most likely the case as to why this card would not get a 10. It is what it is. It be what it be. I don't know what to tell you. But my guess is because of that more predominant whitening on that top right side, it probably will not get a 10. But if you want to try to submit it and get the Gambler's 10, you probably can, but I probably would say it's a 9. In addition, there's some more whitening on that bottom right side as well, and possibly something there, but that's kind of a stretch. That on the left side looks like a little bit of just whitening that you can probably just wipe off. But I think the speck on the top right and the bottom Middle left side. Yeah, this right here. Yep. I think that's probably something you could probably wipe off. Hopefully. Hopefully. Um, but I don't, because again, for modern, it's make or break, which I'm actually going to talk about after this, guys. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to be talking about why vendors don't want your 9s. Speaking as a vendor, I'm going to tell you why we don't want 9s. So definitely stick around for that. We'll go over that. Charizard and Braixen. Let's see. So top and bottom centering look good. Left and right centering also look good. Corners look good. Corners on this look good. Centering looks really good. Again, the only thing that I cannot stress enough, guys, is if you have cards that you're submitting, make sure to wipe off the back. So like this little white speck here where my mouse is, right there, right there. This one, actually, I'm going to take the snipping tool just so I can highlight a little bit closer on what I'm talking about here. So in the top here, this looks like it probably cannot be removed. This can, that, and that. So those bits of whitening may or may not be removable. So just kind of keep that in mind in addition to this stuff. So all these little like white specks look a little rough. Additionally, we have something probably there, but that might be kind of a stretch. Some dirt right there. So it's really more of just kind of a generic cleanup duty, to be quite honest with you. If you can't get rid of those, you're probably looking at a 9 or even an 8. But if you can get rid of all the things that I kind of circled on screen, then you may have a good chance. You may have a good chance at a 10. But my guess is that you probably won't be able to get rid of all of it, which would let me know that you're probably looking in that 9 range. And if anything's worse, then it might be more of an 8, in my opinion. But so yeah. So we had the Braixen. So we had that, and D44 is up next. So let me make sure that I have D's cards here. And again, if you guys are enjoying yourselves, and if you want to help me with the almighty algorithm, make sure to like and share the live. Always means a lot. Try to share the good word. Try to expand my reach to other people. TikTok has really ramped up their discoverability as of late, so always appreciate it. So let us take a look at these bad boys coming up here. So the Japanese Sylveon EX. Let us take a look, my friends. So centering on the front looks good. Top, bottom, left, and right. Corners look good. Let's see. The back. You know, the back of this card looks pretty decent. I'm not going to lie to you. Top right looks good. Top left looks good. Bottom left looks good. Bottom right looks good. This one looking pretty good, to be quite honest with you, chat. So I'd probably lean more towards that being a good 10 contender. Now, this one's a little bit darker, but I'm hoping we can kind of see some things here. So let's take a look. So the centering on this looks good. Looks a bit thicker on that right side, but I think we're definitely within that 55-45 range. So I'm not really too concerned there. But as we flip it over, unfortunately, one thing that I am seeing, and you guys probably can't see it because it is a little bit dark in this one, to be honest, but right here, trying to zoom in, is a little bit of whitening on that top left corner. So this one might not get the 10 because of that, but that might be kind of like a gambler's 10 like I mentioned before. And then the Ethan's Ho-Oh, centering is really good. Top or left and right. top and bottom look okay. The bottom looks a tiny bit off center, but I think definitely within the range for sure. And aside from the cat hairs on the left side of the card, centered very well. Possibly some whitening here on the bottom right side, right here, but I don't know if that's, again, the background or the card or whatever. So if you can get rid of that, you're probably within that 10 range, but if you cannot, you're probably within that 9 range. So you got some good contenders. I'm not gonna lie to you. You got some good candidates for sure. So yeah. So that is the grade review there. Kenny, what's going on, man? Welcome in. What was my next part? That's what it was, chat. It was the next segment, which was, drumroll please, why don't we want your 10s? That's what it was. And so, what do I mean by that, chat? Why do people not want your 10s? Well, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when people go to shows with their PSA 9s, it's often modern. And right now I'm just drawing some guidelines here so I can make sure I don't make the same mistake twice. Boom. All right. So chat. Why? It's about time. All right. Well, Apple is going to Blinkertown, hitting the Pendramin button. So we have to kind of do a brief kind of overview, right? So the difference between when we're talking about grading, there is a clear and distinct difference between a PSA 9 and a PSA 10 from the label perspective, right? So PSA 10s are seen as like gem mint. There's nothing wrong with it. Perfect, beautiful, mwah, creme de la creme, right? PSA 9s, there's something very slightly off about it, whether it's centering, maybe a white dot, like I call kind of a gambler's 10, whatever, right? Something that didn't hit the PSA 10 mark. So as a result of the two, there's a significant premium in price from a PSA 10 to a PSA 9. So when I say why don't vendors want PSA 9s, I specifically am talking about modern. So why am I talking about modern? Well, we have to kind of go back in time a tad. So what I mean by going back in time is we have to consider the print quality between Wizard of the Coast, like way back when, versus modern, right? So back in the day with Wizard of the Coast, their main objective was to print as many cards as possible. Condition did not matter. Their replacement of their cutting machines did not matter. They needed to print to demand. So as a result, there were a lot of inconsistencies. There was a lot of printing defects, a lot of printing errors, a lot of print issues, like we call silvering is a big, huge issue back in the day. So there's a lot of factors. Plus, it was like 20 to 30 years ago, right? So Wizards of the Coast really had issues back in the day with printing. So the print quality was much harder to sustain that standard. Where fast forward to today, modern is so much better. The technology has improved. There's way more to it that will result in cards being at a much better condition. So when we talk about the 9s and why vendors don't take 9s, is because there is an inherent kind of level of expectation when it comes to looking at a 9 modern versus a 9 vintage. So for me, I traditionally stick with anything that's vintage, meaning kind of like, maybe even like Gen 3 back, if it's graded. I normally reserve like the worst condition in most cases would be 8 or above, because I know that the print quality was not as consistent as modern. Having said that, with modern, it's pretty much 10 or bust. And you'll, in 90% of the cases with vendors, unless there's a vendor that really wants to take advantage of that kind of gap in the market, which is, again, totally good and totally okay. There are some vendors who will take your nines. So nines are A-okay, right? So there is that level of discoverability, but it's very niche. Some vendors will not take nines for that exact reason. So from a vendor's perspective, so let's say that you presented to me and said, hey, Galaxia, I would love to sell you my 9 slabs, right? So if I were to take in those 9 slabs, I have to know, will people want these 9 slabs? And so most of the time, it kind of breaks out into a few categories. But the big one that I would have to kind of cater to from a vendor is people that are looking to collect the raw version of the card, but want it authenticated ahead of time. And that in itself is very niche. So what that would have to, what I would have to do is I would have to take that slab, I would have to crack it open to get the raw version and sell it as near mint. Because why I do that is because there are certain instances where the near mint variant is actually at or above what the PSA 9 variant would be, which is crazy, but this is why. From near mint TCG Player, the standard that people look at for ungraded cards, when someone goes online, goes on TCG Player and looks up near mint prices, there is now a premium or an expectation that there is a chance that that card will get a PSA 10 because it is modern, and standards of modern, like I said before during this conversation, is much higher. So the chances of that raw card without pictures and whatever to getting the 10 is much higher than if you were to buy a near mint vintage card expecting it to get a 10 if you were to buy it online. So since that card that I just kind of highlighted in this example was already a 9, I personally already know the expected grade if I were to crack that and grade it again. Now, there's instances where people crack and regrade all the time and will probably get a 10, whatever. But in this example, I kind of know from a vendor perspective that people are going to want a card that is a 10 or bust if they're looking for graded. For ungraded, they're more likely to look for a raw card or a raw copy for their binder. And so for the 9s, if I had a 9 and it was modern, I'm cracking it open, selling it for raw versus selling it as a PSA 9 variant, because I'm the one doing the work of cracking it open, because I've tried it. Trust me, I've tried asking people, hey, I'll sell this to you for raw, and whatever, all you have to do is crack it open. And sometimes that's just like, it's just like an extra layer versus just being able to buy it cracked already outright. So that's kind of where that transparency kind of kicks in, where I'd rather just crack it open and sell it as near mint versus selling it as 9. But there's so much work to get to that point that I'd rather just say, I'm good, thank you. In comparison to if it was already cracked, I would buy it raw versus 9s because of that reason. Because it's an extra layer of work that I now have to do to crack it open. So that is the main reason why I personally and most vendors won't take 9s for, like, when they say, it's a 9, I'm probably not going to take it. But there are some that will for that reason. They don't mind cracking it. They don't mind taking the time or whatever. There's obviously exceptions, but for the most part, that's the main reason. So the reason why I kind of bring this up, and it kind of is a good segue of everything that we were just talking about at the beginning of stream with pre-grading and whatever, is I think because of the accessibility of GameStop, right? So like GameStop is a huge player in the game now because the accessibility of grading has gone up significantly. So when someone opens a pack, they can now go to GameStop to submit those cards to grade instantly. It's like, for example, there's one trade show that I have that's in my local mall that there's a GameStop in, and it's really interesting because I've seen so many people, because where I'm at is like right in front of the GameStop. During the show, people will buy the cards that they want throughout the show and like go to GameStop instantly to drop their cards off to get graded, which is really kind of cool, to be honest. But that's a separate point. But um, I think the availability and the ease of access to grade through GameStop tends to make people think that everything that comes out of a pack is PSA 10 worthy. So there is a large supply of like a card, like a raw card from Modern, going in to get graded. So there are more sample sizes to suggest that, hey, that card, like the Lugia V, for example. I have a copy of the PSA 10 Lugia V. That I think the pop report on that is like 19,000. Like 19,000 plus copies of that card exist in a PSA 10, where like 11,000 copies are in a PSA 9. So there's more 10s of Lugia V from Silver Tempest than 9s. So it's like, the gem rate of a PSA 10 is so much higher than a PSA 9 just based purely off of the sample size. So it's like, of course I'm going to stick with PSA 10s. There's just more of them. Just supply and demand, right? So just make sure to do your due diligence before you submit, because you will have a lot of difficulty trying to sell those cards at a PSA 9 if they are modern. So like Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet specifically. There are instances now where like Sun and Moon and previous that if they do get 9s, you still have a good shot at at selling them or trading them. Like if they're really popular, like tag teams or megas, like stuff like that are very desirable in their own right. Having those are the exception, but more like Sword and Shield, Scarlet, Violet is the thing you want to kind of keep track of. So just make sure that you do your due diligence and submit if you think that there is a really good possibility of them getting 10s. So that's kind of my 2 cents. And probably like my last point in this, and Fun actually said this as well in chat, and thank you for the follow, by the way, is everything that I am saying about 9s in itself makes 9s more cost effective or a better financial option if you're looking for a cheaper copy. Because me personally, like what I was showing before with my Zapdos and my Chansey, these PSA 9s, and let me just go to so like these, for example, the PSA 9 Chansey and the PSA 9 Zapdos, these came from my personal collection because I upgraded these to some first editions that were even a lower grade than this. But there's way more buying power that you can have. Like you can buy like 4 to 5 9s at the same cost as 1 10. And for me personally as a collector, these were pack fresh, right? Like this Mint 9 Zapdos and this Mint 9 Chansey, those were as pack fresh as I could possibly get, right? So it just always seemed weird to me that like people needed to like hyperfixate on 10s. Because at the end of the day, like I only care about the factors that I can control, which is like, sleeving them when they come out of a pack and whatever. But it's kind of like there are things that I just simply can't control that I don't really care about for me personally. And so that's why I, for my PC, gravitate towards 9s. But as a vendor, I tend to stay away from them because not everyone thinks that way. Because there's a lot of people who strive to only get 10s. And so that's just kind of how the way the world works. So it just is what it is. The raws are about the same value as 9s. Exactly, Roger. Exactly. I think 9s, for me personally, when I really like to look for 8s for my binder collections. Because I've gotten burned with, like, I'd search for a few PSA 7s and I kind of got burned on a few of them that I was like, man, this really isn't a PSA 7. It's like a 6. Because there's like visible damage on the front. But anyway, But yeah, 8s or 9s, they're great. They're great, like raw binder copy cards. Like they're a fantastic option and often are cheaper than the raw variant because again, there are so many people who look like TCG Player is the gold standard. Whether people like it or not, it's the gold standard for raw. And so when someone buys a card at near mint price on TCG Player, they're going to be looking for grading plays where it kind of has that premium. But the premium, and it's really kind of dumb. The premium is built into the fact that you don't have to submit pictures to get your cards posted online. You don't have to, which is crazy to me. But that's kind of the hidden premiums that you can kind of hide through this like mysterious near mint category without ever having to prove visually that it's near mint. But is PSA putting on Kurtz wax for their cleaning service, or are they just wiping it down? My bet, I think that their PR answer would be that they're just wiping it down, but my realistic answer is probably that they're using some form of wax. I bet they are. There's no shot that they're not. But whether it's Kurtz, I don't know. That's a different story, but they're probably using something for sure. But yeah. So that is why I personally don't take 9s. So as a recap, just real quick, the reason why most vendors do not take 9s is more for modern than vintage. So like anything Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, because the standard of printing quality is so much higher in modern when compared to vintage, like older sets. So that expectation of it getting a 10 is so much higher. And you can see that in pop reports of modern cards and whatnot. So that's the main reason. And so as from a vendor perspective, like what you see on screen, if I were to try to maximize my potential sales opportunity, it's easier for me to crack the PSA 9 out of its PSA holder and sell it at near mint price, because there are instances where there are more collectors of the raw copy, or there are more instances where a person thinks that that card would get a better grade than a 9 and without having to deal with cracking it out themselves. So there is that kind of like weird inherent benefit of not having to get it out themselves. So that's why I tend to stay away from PSA 9s, because I just don't want to go through with that work. And there are plenty of other people that can take advantage of that opportunity. So, which includes you as the buyer, knowing that it's less desirable, which makes the cost of that card go down. And in some instances, will actually have it so that a PSA 9 is cheaper than the raw near mint version on TCG Player, which is crazy, but that's just how the market works currently. So a good rule of thumb from a buyer perspective is if you have cards you're submitting into GameStop or PSA or whatever grading service you use, really do your due diligence to submit and make sure that the cards are going to get the grade that you want, in this case a PSA 10, and save yourself the money and the headache and the trouble trying to sell it or offload it, knowing that people it'll be harder to sell or trade because of that kind of expectation that modern should be 10 or bust. And most people are going to go into it with that kind of mindset or expectation. That's just kind of the reality. It's unfortunate, but until the market changes, that's the world we live in. Sorry, guys. Because they say they can tell if wax is used, but then obviously, dude, there's so much with PSA that it's just crazy. Let's see. We just go back to just chatting here real quick. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Hopefully you had a fun, good time. It's been great. I've been vibing. PSA had a cleaning service now. What's the upcharge on that? I think they don't have it released officially, I believe. They've been kind of toying around with the idea in customer surveys of like, hey, if you want your cards cleaned, would you take advantage of it if PSA offered it? Because PSA is starting the process of, if you buy a raw card on eBay that's 250 or more, you can submit it to PSA directly and get it graded. So they're trying to like make, hey, if you buy it online, we can kind of touch it up a little bit. But What do you think about CGC 10s? I've been buying them up. I mean, me personally, it's just like the shows that I go to are just so hard to sell CGC stuff that like, and it's just hard in general. But I think for CGC 10s and whatnot, I mean, sometimes if you really want like a good contender to kind of cross grade, sometimes you can kind of take advantage of it. But I've seen some CGC 10s that I'm like, this won't even get like a 9 as a PSA grade. But I mean, I think for buying them and cracking them open, I think it's cool. Or if it's like a really niche card, like a Gold Star, Shining, like higher end stuff, I think it's a good idea. Because again, it's people aren't really like, because like from a vendor perspective, like the easy return on investment is going to be PSA, Beckett, Black Label, CGC 10s or Pristines, then probably Beckett, everything below, and then CGC anything below. But that's just my opinion. But so yeah. All right, chat. Well, that's gonna be it for me tonight. Gonna be updating some stuff. I have a lot of editing to do, but I have some fun, exciting stuff. Again, that box right there. That's what I'm preparing. I just picked that up this week. You guys can't see it on TikTok. Let me shift over. That right there. That box right there. I just picked that up this week. I gotta prep that. So that's why I have to end it a little bit early. But only time will tell when I show it off, chat. It will be soon. But yes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. For those of you who stuck out, appreciate it. For those of you who are new, I appreciate you guys hanging out and welcome. It was nice to see you, talk to you, whoever was lurking or not lurking. I appreciate it regardless. If you haven't already, make sure to follow. I stream every Wednesday, do the same thing every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's always a fun time to hang out with you guys. And I will catch you in the next one. I have a vendor POV that I'm editing that's going to be done where I make a lot of kids upset. As always, apparently I'm the guy that makes children upset. I don't know why, but it is what it is. So, peace, chat.